Hello and welcome to episode 41 of the Knit Sip Happy podcast. My name is Nancy and I'm coming to you from the east coast of Canada, just outside of Moncton, New Brunswick. Hello, how are you? How have you been? I am back on my 3-week deadline. It is Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada. But we are not doing the big traditional meal this weekend. We had a big family meal 2 weeks ago with the kids. So we are just doing brunch tomorrow morning, which will be great. I'm going to make my homemade waffles. Yummy. All right, I'm already into the waffle. We are going to be chatting about all of the regular things, the FOs, the whips. I've got some spinning, some design chat, some acquisitions because I did a knit picks order I'd mentioned last time, and I was at another Fibre festival. PEI Fibre Festival happened last weekend, October 3rd to 5th in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. And we've got a little chit chat at the end and all sorts of fibery goodness. So where can you find me? I'm going to put a little screen up here. You can find me everywhere as Knit Sip Happy online, Ravelry, Instagram, Facebook, email, all of that is there if you want to reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you. And chapters. I will have the chapters running below with everything sectioned out. So if there's anything that you aren't interested in, feel free to skip along to the next section. And I'm also going to have everything linked below in the description box. If you click on the more, there's an arrow button and it'll fill you out to the full show notes with links to Ravelry pages and websites of people that I talk about. If I forget anything, just shoot me a little note in the comments or send me a message in any one of those places and I will gladly get that fixed up. All right. That's the administration bits done. Oh, Giftaway Winners. That is also coming up later in the episode. I've already started to record this. This is my second time because I sat down and said, yes, I have Giftaway Winners and realized I had forgotten to draw for them. So I stopped and did that and I've done that and we'll talk about that a little later as well. Speaking of episode 40, thank you so much for watching and leaving your wonderful comments to enter the giveaway. I am way behind on comments. There were over 600 comments and I just haven't had time to get to all of them yet, but they were all entered as of 2 p.m. Atlantic summer time in Canada. So they were all entered up until then. So I thank you for that and we'll chit chat about that more a little later. Oh, I feel like I need to take a deep breath. Like that was a lot to throw at you. What am I drinking? Red. I could have gone white today. It's very sunny. We were almost outside this afternoon. It's beautiful. It's about 13 degrees Celsius and pretty windy. So I did a little test to see if the microphone would pick up the wind, and it did. So we are in the craft room, but we were almost outside again because the leaves are stunning. I took a little bit of video, probably put that at the beginning, to show you the status of the leaves in the backyard, the trees in the backyard right now. We've had some pretty strong winds the last couple of days, so the leaves are falling pretty quickly off the trees now. I love autumn/fall. I just wish it lasted longer and didn't lead into winter. I wish it lasted like 4 or 5 months. That would be like delightful. So I started to talk about red wine. This is a Shiraz blend, a Mataro Shiraz blend from Australia. It's been in my wine cellar downstairs for a few years, so it's very nice. Hopefully the red wine doesn't bring up a hot flash, but we'll see how we do. Next thing to check off my list is what I am wearing. I am wearing a beautiful yoke sweater. This is Midcoast by Knit Love Wool, Jennifer Steingass. I'll put some other pictures in up here. I knit this pretty much 5 years ago. I was working on this when I attended the last Knit East in St. Andrews in 2009, October 2009. So I am bang on schedule for this being a five-year-old knit. I just give it a quick glean underneath. The main body color is Drops Njord that I got off of Wool Warehouse. It's an alpaca wool nylon blend, so it's suitable for socks. I've never knit socks in it. And then just a variety. These two were yarns in my stash, and I believe they're both Yarn Indulgences colors. I do this because this just doesn't have a ribbing. It has kind of a rolled hem. And the sleeves come up, they're quite long, which is fine, but when I'm working, they're a little bit annoying. I wore this to work on Friday. I've just started to get my winter sweaters out of storage. They're not all out yet. I'm now in that cumbersome process. I have to wash and dry all of my summer cotton linen tees because I'm not going to wear them anymore. And I got to get all the winter stuff out. And yeah, so we're in that phase. So this was the one on the top of the pile. So this is what I pulled out. If I would knit this again. I think there was a few rows that had 3 colors. I think there's only 4 rows, maybe 2 and 2. I would definitely knit this again. It's a very engaging yoke. I also did this before I started making adjustments on my yokes, so it is a little oversized. I would do it a little smaller next time, and then just move some stitches from the back to the front to give me more space so it doesn't move. It's a little ripply sometimes, so I know that it's oversized. But I do love, it's a beautiful graphic colorwork yoke. I was shopping. I went into a shoe store and the young guy working there came over and told me how much he loved my sweater, which I thought was very nice. Yeah, because shopping isn't my favorite thing to do. So it did give me a smile, but I still walked out without buying anything because I realized I just wasn't in the mood. Because we were up early. We have had more mouse shenanigans. Not as dramatic as last time, but okay. We'll leave that for the chat. We'll leave that to the chat at the end. Let us start with some finished objects. I have 3, kind of. First is these. They're all socks. This is the pair of drops Fable that I was knitting for a gentleman who runs a small business in town, and once I've shown you, I may run these down to him next week. So they are not matching, but I think, you can tell they belong together. But super fun. Those colors are coming out beautifully. So I used Drops Fable, and the colorway is 542 in these greens and grays. So I have 10 grams left of each ball. So these socks are 80 plus grams because I did a contrast heel in the Filcolana Arvetta, and I don't have that color. It's back in my stash, but the Ravelry project page will be linked below and the colorway is linked there. So these are just a simple pair of socks. I did a ribbing texture down the side, both sides, just to give me a little bit of detail. And I also have detailed that in my Ravelry project page. So these are done and washed and blocked, and I will package these up and send them off to, or take them down to their recipient. So where am I going to throw all this stuff? Down there, I guess. The other thing I finished that I was still working on was the 3rd Missing Mojo sock. I had knit a pair already, but when I got, if you've been here before, I had gotten down past the leg on the 2nd sock and realized I hadn't done the video tutorial to support the pattern. This is one of my patterns. I didn't say that. This is called the Missing Mojo socks. It's in my Ravelry store. It's got this really fun slip cross texture running through it. And then just a little bit of broken rib panels down the foot. So this is the 3rd sock. So this one I'm going to keep as a sample, and the first 2 that make a pair will be gifted for Christmas this year to somebody. I don't know who yet. So I'm going to put this with all my other samples that lives down underneath my desk. And that's done there. That was using Knit Picks yarn, Stroll in the blue violet tonal and deep waters. Again, it'll be linked to my project pages. The other pair of socks that I finished that you may never even have seen because, so I haven't woven in the ends, and I do have 2 of them. These are show socks. This is Deborah Yarn Indulgence's sock marl base, and I have been knitting on these when I go to help out at yarn shows, or I'm at yarn shows with her, whether I'm helping or not. I always have some knitting with me, and I've had this pair of socks on the needles. I think we figured out since Knit City Montreal in 2021. I probably don't even have, I'm pretty sure I don't have a Ravelry page for them because they've just lived in this little project bag, this little Dolphina Rosé bag. So now that I'm showing this to you, I may have showed them to you before, but I have this little bag that I put over my arm, and the way the zipper works, I can pull the zipper halfway down and pull the sock and the yarn out, and I can knit with this over my arm while I'm standing in the booth chatting to people. Yeah. So I have a pair of socks finished. This is my By the Shore pattern. This is the first pattern I ever came out with on Ravelry. It's got a feather and fan lace pattern down the front. The color's a little bit brighter than it's supposed to be. I'm messing around with the color, the lighting today, so hopefully that's working. But I finished this pair at PEI Fibre Festival and cast on something new to have for show knitting. So these just need the ends woven in and block them. I don't know if Deborah wants one on the booth for a sample. We do have quite a few marl, or whether this is for me to either wear and or give away. As I said, I'm not sure if you've ever seen those before. I didn't weigh my leftovers, but that's what I've got for leftovers. So that's that, and that's it for finished objects. It's been 3 weeks. My schedule is getting back to normal, so I do have some more brain space and time, and that's been lovely. But again, it's been busy with the show being away and family being around and all good stuff. All good stuff. Let's talk whips. I'm only going to show you what I've touched. So I have whips sitting in my whip basket, the Kiss Kiss socks from Turtle Pearl. I'll show you a project picture on that. That's on my Ravelry page. I've got something designed that I'll show you later. What else is in my bag that I haven't touched? Oh, the other Turtle Pearl. See, I'm already starting to pull on this because it's moving. The sweater is shifting and I'm sitting still. I kind of glossed over. I have a video explaining how I modify my knits for my pear shape. Fairly a decent sized bust, a narrower waist, but pear shape, wider hips and bum. So I have I think it's up on that side. I'll link that video, how I modify my knits. I'll link that video up there if you are interested and haven't seen it yet. But there's a way to modify a circular yoke sweater so that it fits better and doesn't move around as much if your front is bigger and your back is smaller, which for most women it is. Okay, I went off on a tangent there. What else? I was saying what I haven't worked on. So yeah, the Dream Room Turtle Pearl socks I haven't touched. I haven't done any knitted knockers since I was here. I haven't done any of the nano socks since I was here. I do have 2 new cast-ons. So 3 actually. Let's start because we were just talking show socks. So I'm going to show you what's in this little Dolphina bag. I knew before we left for PEI, I only had maybe 3 repeats left to do on that sock plus the toe. So I knew I wasn't going to have enough sock to knit in the booth. So I took the leftovers from my Stitchery sampler socks, the sample pair that I did, this nice navy blue. The color's a little brighter, but that's better. This is Deborah Yarn Indulgence's, her splendid sock base. So I had lots left over from the 2 socks because I used quite a bit of the contrast yarn. And I decided to cast on, I wanted to cast on another of my patterns. Deborah would like all of my patterns, all of my sock patterns, 1 sock knit up in one of her yarns bases. So that's kind of the goal, I guess. So I cast on a Freddy Beach sock. So this is my 4th or 5th pattern, maybe, I can't remember. And it's based on the lovely walking bridge in Fredericton, New Brunswick, where my daughter lives. It's the capital of our province. and the metal grid work on the bridge is very reminiscent, or this stitch pattern is very reminiscent of that grid metal pattern. So I cast this on, did the ribbing, and it's a nice easy pattern, so I can do it while I'm talking and not have to pay too much attention to the pattern, which is a bonus. I got a bit of yarn barf happening here, but I'm torn as to whether I'm just going to finish this sock because this is a good set of my high needles, or I'm just going to put it on a crappy pair of sock needles and hibernate it for the winter to use, because I'm not back in yarn show now until probably Fiddlehead Fibre Festival in next April 2025 will be my first yarn show out and about. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm really enjoying the knit though, so I may just finish this one sock and get the needles back. I love these Haya steels. So Haya needles, when you've got the green cable, this is not their sharps, it's the steels, so they're less pointy base. I apologize for the blowout there, guys. So this is magic loop. I use a 32-inch cable when I'm doing magic loop, and I'm either using this Haya steel or ChowGoo interchangeable mini twist because I love the cable. The cable on this can be a little bit memory, but the join between the needle and the cable is so slick, I forgive it all of its sins because I really enjoy knitting it. So that is undetermined. If you don't see it next time and it's not on the show list for next time, then it hibernated. I put an ugly pair of sock needles on it and it hibernated. I've got some Addies from when I first started sock knitting, and I just don't like them. They're too blunt. The cable and the join are pretty good, but they're just too blunt for me for what I like to do. So may or may not be hibernated. You may or may not see this again till the spring. The only thing in my whips that I'm going to show you that you've seen before is my crochet blanket. So I have made a new magic knot ball. I said I was going to get Brad to do it, but I was feeling so brainless one night and so tired, I couldn't even face knitting or crocheting, so I just grabbed out scraps and magic knotted them together and made a nice big ball. There's been a couple nights where I just couldn't face anything else. I couldn't even knit. So this is what I did. What I do need to remember to do after I've shown you today is put a stitch marker in it to show you how much progress I make over the 3 weeks. So I put a little safety pin or light bulb stitch marker in there just to hold the stitch. So this is what I have done. Can you see? There we go. That's all right. So I can't remember where I was. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a progress keeper in here. Do I have one in this bag? That's a good question. I have something rattling around in here. No, I don't. So I will grab a progress keeper and pop that in this row. So next time I show you, I can show you how much I've gotten done. But again, this is lovely and brainless and colorful. And thank you for everybody who commented on my glue situation. If you were here last time, I was talking about using magic knots, and I've had one of them come undone. Now I've used them quite a lot, but I wanted to try a fabric glue, and I was using this. Hello. I need to do that, block my face. There we go. And I was saying it was a little bit crunchy. I'm using less of it and it's less crunchy. There were some great suggestions. I think Fraycheck was the main one. But yeah, I'm using this now, so I think I'm just going to stick with it. I had another one, my friend Leanne, who is a crocheter. She just crochets in the ends of the magic knots, like the two ends. But I found that really faffy. I couldn't get the ends. My ends are usually only about an inch, inch and a half long. And I just couldn't get enough in there to feel like they were woven in securely. So I did that a couple of times. I didn't really like the look of it either. I did it here. You can see there's ends sticking out there. So I tried it there and didn't really like the result. So that is just kind of a slow burner back project when I've had a long day and I just don't want to do anything that requires brain power. The other thing that I cast on, or I took for PEI Fibre Festival, I needed a lot of times I go to these Fibre festivals and I take like 8 projects and I plan to do so much knitting and I'm going to cast on a sweater and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do. The reality is it never happens. So I take like 6 or 7 project bags with all kinds of plans and ideas, and all I want to do is knit something easy so I can talk to my friends. So that I planned much better this time. I think I took 2 project bags, but 3 potential projects. 3 project bags, because I took the show booth. Anyway, doesn't matter. I took a lot less and kept it a lot more simple. So in my beautiful yellow petal handmade project bag, Penelope is a maker in Nova Scotia and she loves the Rifle Paper company paper fabrics. And this one just kind of spoke to me. I love these blues. So I picked some yarn out of my stash. This is going to be a gift for my son's girlfriend. Just gonna let this blow out. Come on, blow out. There it goes. So it's Knit Picks Stroll Tweed and some Knit Picks Hawthorn in a speckled color. Don't have the yarn tag for this one anymore, but it's the name of it is written in my Ravelry project page. So I have cast on a Musselburgh hat. Let me just put the stitch stoppers on there because I have stitch stoppers, but when I stopped knitting on it yesterday in the car, I worked on this when Brad drove us to work yesterday morning. I've got my cute little blue flowers. I didn't put them back on because I thought, oh, it's fine. But then I didn't knit on it anymore. And yeah, there we go. So cast on Musselburgh hat. So I'm sure you know all about a Musselburgh hat, but in case you don't, it's a double hat. You make it, it looks like a giant sausage. So you cast on one end, you knit all the way along, and then you close it at the other end. And then you shove both small ends into each other. So you've got a double weight hat. It's measure your gauge as you go so you know how big to make it. So I did that. I did a different cast on, which you can't tell. It's a very fiddly pinhole style cast on that's in the pattern that where had I heard? I'd heard on another podcast, I forget which one, was instead of doing that, they just cast on 4 stitches and then just did knit front and back, or did increases. And then you get to your 8 stitches and that's where the Musselburgh pattern starts for its increases. So I do this on magic loop. So I did that. Let me just blow this out. There we go. I did that. And then I just closed up the very small hole with the tail end of the yarn. And then you're increasing at 4 different points on this hat. So I'm actually going to do a 2-tone hat. My friend Leanne did a 2-tone hat and I thought this would be kind of fun with the dark and the light. So if Cass would like to cuff it, she can have both of the colors showing, or she can have it slouchy with just one of the colors showing. So I've dropped my yarn. Oh, please. Try to pick that up without knocking my precarious setup up. So yeah, this is just, again, good for mindless knitting. I am going to have to start paying attention. I've got to look at Leanne's project page or just message her to see how long she did for the 2-tone, or just check Ravelry. So I believe she said something like 8 inches, but don't quote me on that. I don't remember. So I need to know where to change the yarn. But I'm hoping to use most of this. If not, it'll just go into my blanket. So that's on the needles, and this is also one of my acquisitions I picked up. I did not have a 16-inch circular, hat size circular, in a 3.075 millimeter. What size? 3.5? I can't remember what size I cast on. And I can't see that small writing with my contact lenses in. But I have my Ravelry right here, so I was able to, a 3mm, I was nowhere close. To get the gauge I liked on this fingering, I used a 3mm needle. So I picked up a 16-inch circular Chowgu hat size 16-inch 3mm. How many times can I say that now? At Fleece and Harmony last weekend. They had some needles, and I'm sure they were popular because everybody was buying yarn and we needed new needles to cast new things on. So I got organized. We left for PEI on the Thursday, so I think on the Wednesday I cast on the Musselburgh hat, did the increases, measured my gauge, figured out what size I needed to do, and then stopped it there. So I was knitting on that when we were driving to PEI, and then the evenings as we were knitting and chatting and sipping a little wine in the lobby at the Delta in Charlottetown, which was lovely. The only other thing I'm technically this cast on and working on is being housed in my beautiful Dorsan Savoie basket. Dorsan is a local maker, and she makes these beautiful baskets. And I ordered this from her at our little yarn weekend we had in Sussex last February, and she custom made this for me with the colors. And it's got a swing handle, so I can move the handle down. Anyway, that's the lovely basket. What am I knitting? If you've been on Instagram, you'll know what I'm knitting. I decided that I was going to try and knit myself a Felix pullover in 2.5 weeks or so. Random arbitrary deadline? Not really. I have a reason, and I'll tell you a little later. So I had, this is blowing way out. The color is not like this at all. And again, this is the color the lighting I'm playing with. So this is a much deeper pink. It's not this fuchsia fluorescent. But this is Drops Charisma, color 13. I've had it in my stash, I think since 2017 or 2018, before I was gray. I used to dye my hair kind of reddish brown, brownish red. And when I got this color, I was like, yowza, that looks horrible. But now I have this going on. It's a much better color for me, but I'm still, yeah, it's still too bright. But I'll put a picture from from Instagram Ravelry here. And that shows the actual color much better. So Drops Charisma is 100% wool. I am spit splicing this. It's not the softest, but it's also not rustic. When I blocked it, it turned out beautifully. I could definitely wear this next to skin, but quite frankly, I'm going to be wearing it over dresses and tunics and things like that. I think I'm doing it cropped. I've been doing some online shopping because I needed some new clothes for fall and winter. Just some different things. So I picked up some tunics and some dresses, and we'll see. They haven't gotten here yet. So I haven't tried any of them on. It could be a disaster. But so the Felix pullover by Amy Christoffers, Savory Knitting, is well known for this beautiful raglan detail with the eyelets. My gauge was not bang on to pattern. Pattern calls for 14 stitches over 4 inches. I got 16 stitches over 4 inches. So I've gone down a needle size. I'm knitting on a 5.5mm needle instead of a 6.5mm needle. And I'm doing a size bigger than I would normally do it. And I tried it on before I started the sleeves. So I put the bottom on hold. I used a spare circular needle and tried it on. It's snugger than I was hoping it would be, but obviously I'll be able to give myself a little extra. This is 100% wool, so I'll be able to give myself a little bit of extra space when I block it. And I did measure myself, so I'm not quite sure. Maybe my gauge, I have not remeasured my gauge, but this is also not blocked, so the gauge wouldn't be correct to my blocked gauge anyway. So modifications. I did just a regular long tail cast on. I should have done an alternating cable cast on, but again, brain didn't even clue in until I was already done the ribbing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that again. I did an extra little bit of ribbing again because my stitch and row gauge were a little smaller. I figured I'd do a little longer ribbing than the row number that she gives you. And then marked for the raglans. So you're doing increases on 4 different points. And yeah, it's been, as you can see, it kind of zoomed by. I got to here and I had finished a ball of wool. So I decided to go ahead and pick up for the sleeves and get the sleeves done first. And then I'm probably soon ready for a try on to see where I'm at for sleeve length. I've been doing decreases as I go. You can see the stitch markers here, marking the decreases. Or more on this side. Maybe it's this side is better. Anyway, I'm doing decreases. Again, she has you start the decreases after 5 rounds. I did a good 3.5 inches because my upper arm is a little bit meatier and the rest of my arm is quite small. So I left the upper arm a little more loose, and then I've been doing decreases every 5 rounds on this. And if I get to where I'm supposed to start the ribbing, before I get to the number of required stitches, I'll just do a rapid quick decrease and give it a slight balloon. Cuff, that's the word, cuff, then that will work. So I'm picturing this being quite lovely against the blacks, the grays, the navies that are kind of the winter wardrobe around here. I said I've ordered a couple of navy / one dark gray. I can't remember. I've ordered a couple of things, like I said, online. Some of them are coming today, some of them are coming next week because I am going away. I haven't really told you guys about it yet. Some people have mentioned it online, but I am going to England 2 weeks today, October 27th. I'm going on my own, but I'm 2 weeks away. And the reality is I'm leaving for 10 days on my own. I will spend some time with family. I was born in England, in the south, in Hampshire. And I still have a lot of family there. Brad and I were there August, September 2023. We had a nice family visit and did a lot of touristing. And I met some lovely English knitters, podcasters that I watch and adore. And I'm going to the Woolay retreat that Kelly and Nick Lay run at their studio workshop space in Shropshire. Kelly and I started talking online. She jokes that she forced me to be friends. I was thrilled. Thrilled when she reached out and started talking to me. She had watched my video about modifying your knits to fit your body and how to work with your measurements. And, you know, it's an emotional subject for a lot of us who carry extra weight and have struggled with weight. And we had some lovely, frank, honest conversations about it. And she was so lovely. And I've always wanted to go to one of her retreats, and said, to just spur of the moment, just on a whim back in July, I said, if you ever have a cancellation on any of your retreats this fall, let me know. Because I didn't take any vacation this year. We took a week off to help Sam with the wedding prep. And I haven't really taken a vacation. I've done a couple of yarn shows here and there, but that's work, a lot of it. It's, setting up the booth and tearing down and people-y. As much as I love the people-y, boy, this went rambly. As much as I love the people-y, it can be exhausting for the awkward introvert that I am. Anywho, I'm taking 10 days. I'm going on my own. I'm going to spend some time with family in the south, and then I'm going to take a train up to the Midlands, and I am on the retreat. Kelly messaged me and said, yeah, I have had some cancellations. I think one of the ones is the podcaster retreat weekend. I'm like, excuse me, what? Gaina from Tales from Cuckoo Land, and Gaina Jane, and Allie from Little Drops of Wonderful and This Little Wonderful Life, and Becky back to Blighty, and Emma Eldenwood Craft. They're going to be there. We're with lots of other people. other knitters that I follow on Instagram, and I can't flip and wait. As I'm talking about it, I'm getting excited. It's the most excited I've been about it since I booked the flights. I don't know what else I'm doing. Oh, I'm really hoping to be able to connect with Kirsty and Tracy from Woolland Wishes. They live very close to where I'm going to be staying in the south in Basingstoke. So I am hoping that we'll be able to connect and just get together and just have a little knit together for a little while, just to chat and catch up and just spend some time with them. So that's October 27th I'm home November 6th, I do believe. I'm flying in and out of Halifax. I need to get a direct flight from Halifax into Heathrow and then start the travel shenanigans from there. So that's why the Felix sweater, and that's why the deadline. I thought it'd be kind of fun to have a new sweater to wear with hopefully the new clothes that I'm going to love. Fingers crossed. Or else I'm going to be madly trying to shop local and trying to find something that's going to go with my knits, because I'm going to be having to be very smart with my packing. Going in the summer is one thing with t-shirts. Going in the cooler months with bigger sweaters and things like that. Yeah. Oh, I was going to say something else and it just went poof right out of my head. Because of course I'll be bringing home yarn. That was what I was thinking. I've got to take something over to my aunt who I'm staying with, a gift from my mum. So that will take up some space, but I also need to be able to, I can't take a suitcase that's too big because I've got to get it on and off the train and the baggage carousel. I got to muckle it on my own. I don't have Brad to help, and that's fine. I'm strong, I can handle, but I don't want to be having to muckle a huge suitcase. So I'm taking a medium to small suitcase, and we'll be having to pack creatively. And if I have to check another bag when I come home, then that's what I'll do. So long story long, that's why I cast on the Felix sweater. I was going to be casting on a new sweater for Sam. And I have the project bag here. I've done 2 swatches. It's ready to go. But I realized that I wanted something for me. So she can wait. So I am going to be casting on, I'm going to put a picture up here, the Seaway sweater by Ozetta. I've never knit any of her patterns. I knit Sam a Cadre pattern in the summer. So I thought, I know Ozetta is pretty popular. Sam and I were looking at different patterns. I'm not working with. I had this Barocco Remix Light in my stash. I got from a D-stash locally. And it's 4 skeins of this blue, which is 6927. It's something about worn jeans or faded denim, something like that. And I also had this cream color. So we were looking originally at a stripy sweater. We were looking at Marseille by Petite Knit. And then Sam said something about maybe something cabley and just in the one color. Okay. So we started looking, and I was looking at Ozetta and Cadre again because I don't know if they're young, to be honest, but they tend to appeal to a younger demographic. Not that I wouldn't wear them either. I don't know how to describe it. Anyway, Seaway sweater. It's got these lovely, let's just let this blow out, kind of loose cables. There we go. Very relaxed offset cables with no purl stitches around them. So it's just these little scallopy bits that you can kind of see in the fabric. And perhaps the tweed is obscuring it a little bit, but I think it'll be just fine. So I did a swatch in stockinette, had to adjust needle size because this Barocco Remix Light is an interesting base. I've never knit with it before. It's huge yardage, but is considered a DK weight. It's 30% nylon, 27% cotton, 24% acrylic, 10% silk, 9% linen. So again, this is a good option where it's commercial yarn for Sam, that if she wanted to, she could throw it in the washing machine. She's pretty good at hand washing her sweaters. But so this will happen when I get home. I'm not taking a sweater quantity or a sweater with me on my trip. We'll talk about travel knitting in a little bit. So I marked that as a whip because I did the swatching and I had the needles in my hand. I was going to cast it on, and then I rashly cast on my Felix, swatched and cast on for my Felix instead. So that's it for whips. We're going to slide into design chat, and I'm going to show you a whip happening in design chat. This is in my wine themed project bag made by my friend Donna, who I said last time she's MOD. She's not. She's MOQ. But she doesn't have a website anyway. So, but if you're local in New Brunswick and you come to any events, you may see her booth there. So I showed you this yarn last time. It's from Sassy Strings Yarn Studio in Alberta, lovely Tracy. And I had picked up 2 colorways from her to knit my Njord DK pattern in a fingering. So I've done one. I have a full sock, and I don't have a blocker handy. Do I? Yes, I do. Hang on. This is in testing. It is my Njord sock pattern. I got it to testers on Friday. So they are working their way through it. Some of them knit the DK version, and some are newer to this pattern. So it's got this really fun kind of cross cable slip stitch design with some purl stitches to offset it, and then a ribbing section up the back with the same slip stitch kind of detail. So what I did for my first sample pair was, obviously the main color is called Shadowed Envy, and I did Phantom Silhouette for just a little contrast at the rib and the heel. So then I thought, how fun, let's reverse this. So I did the pop of Shadowed Envy, and I've got Phantom Silhouette that I'm working on down the leg with that fun section on the back of the leg. So that is in progress. I am home on November 7th. So my plan is to launch that pattern that weekend, either the Sunday the 10th or Tuesday the 12th, depending how things are at work and life when I get home from being away. My lovely Amanda, who works with me, and Brad and our new employee Erin will be holding the fort while I'm gone. I will be linked to them digitally. I still do payroll and put in the orders and things like that. I can do that with internet access. So I'll have my handy dandy tablet with me so I can do work as I need to while I'm away. Yeah, so this is going to be tested while I'm gone, and then I'll launch it when I get back. So design chat. That is one thing on. I also wanted to tell you that the Stitchery Sampler sock that I showed you last time is live. It is available on Ravelry and on Love Crafts, so you can get it there. I have a sale currently running on Ravelry. I made it a 2-week sale because I knew I wasn't going to see you guys until this weekend. It started last week, and I usually only run my sales a week, but I wanted to run it an extra week so you guys could take advantage of it in case you aren't on Facebook and Instagram and you didn't see that the sale was running. So all 22 of my paid sock patterns are on sale. You can take 25% off any of them. There's no code required. Just go into Ravelry, pick what you want, put it into your cart, and you get the discount automatically applied. And this one is included. So Stitchery Sampler, modeled after some embroidery, needlework style motifs. There's 10 graphs. I'll be doing a post on Instagram tomorrow showing all of my testers versions and how they let their imaginations go wild. Amazing. They did such a great job. And yeah. Oh, the other thing. So I got a note here. I wanted to show you the Njord Stitchery Sampler is out. We talked about the sale. The other thing I wanted to say a big thank you for, Missing Mojo last time. I had mentioned that it had gone live before, and I come to see you, and the donation period had ended before I came to see you last time. And I'd said, if anybody wanted me to donate, if you wanted to buy it because you missed out, then I would donate all of those funds and you could message me. Well, I only had one person message me, but I had a flurry of sales on Missing Mojo. So I kept track of all of those, and we donated an extra $120 to Knitted Knockers. I just sent it off last week to them. So the grand total for the fundraising for Missing Mojo, I did $750 back in September, and we just added an extra $120. So the total was $870 total sent to Knitted Knockers. So hopefully that gets them almost a month or a full month of shipping postage to send out the knockers to people in need of them. And I think that's Design Chat. Spinning is coming up next. I'm going to insert a little bit of footage here. I was going to show you the yellow mauve cream fiber spin that I finished. I got 3 full skeins. I hadn't had time to wash it and dry it and measure it. So this morning I did get it washed. It's out on the line blowing in this beautiful breeze, drying, but it wasn't quite dry for me to show it. So I will have put in a little video to show you what it looks like. What I will do, maybe tonight or tomorrow, I will run it through my skein winder and put a little video of that in here as we're talking. Post-editing me will either leave you a note to say, meh, didn't get around to it, didn't have time, or I will be inserting a little bit of footage to show you that process of how I wind it, measure it, and wind it back up into skeins to long-term store. My current spin is kind of sitting on a little stand I have here in front of me. So I showed you this fiber last time. It feels like 100% merino to me. This section is quite a lot of the kind of khaki greens and beiges. Some of the other sections have more orange and brown. So what I did was I took the braid and I split it into thirds. I didn't weigh it. I just kind of split the braid into thirds and tore it apart. And then, so this is the last third. This is the second third that I'm spinning now. So there's not too much left of it. This is the first full bobbin of it. So it's definitely autumn with those kind of rusty, and then the greens and browns and creams. So generally, typically not my color, but that's what's on the wheel right now. So I'm spinning this on my little Eel Wheel Nano, my little battery or electric spinning wheel. I like this one for spinning my singles because it spins very fine, and I like that. So I run this off a battery pack most times. I think I put some footage in. Was it last time I put some footage in of me spinning to show you? Yeah, so I'm working on that, and whether it'll be finished now, as I said, at this point now I'm counting down. I got a lot of stuff to get done before I can go, and that silly goal of that Felix, and I've got to get things ready. I've got to pick out my travel knitting. So that's what I've got for spinning. Like I said, unless I input anything for the previous sweater spin, my hopeful Jethro spin is what I'm calling it right now. I hope it's going to be a Jethro. Travel knitting. So it's going to be socks because I need small, portable, not going to take a lot of room projects. I may cast on another Musselburgh to take. Yeah, I have one thing that I think I'd already showed you, because as far as Christmas socks go, I've done all of the man socks are done, except for Rob's. Rob, my son-in-law, Rob. So I had picked this out for him. This is Turtle Pearl. That's the color there now that it's blown out. This is called, I've got my eye on you, EWE. and it will knit up like that. So I thought that was good colors for Rob. It might have a little bit of a camo vibe, either more or less. Oh, my hair. Rob is in the army, so I thought that would be good for him. So I'm going to cake those up and take those with me for sure. Beyond that, I've made no color. I've made no formal knitting plans because I think the reality of that I was going to need travel knitting just kind of hit me when I was writing my notes. Hang on one second. I'm just going to pause you and see if I can't reset the color on this. Oh, there it goes. I didn't need to. I just need to threaten it. So this is in a project bag that I got last year at Southern Wool Show. I can't remember who it's by, and I don't think there's a tag on it. If I remember, I'll link it below. Tracy from Wool and Wishes, she had gotten one and I'd seen it and I loved it so much, so I got a matching one. So that will be going with me to England. So let's do Giftaway. So I had shown you last time I put together 2 prize packs. We've got yarn in here and notions pouches in each of these bags. I didn't specify this, and I had a very kind viewer say that she wouldn't enter because she didn't want me sending yarn to Europe. I will send prizes anywhere in the world. I have my channel set to monetize with YouTube ads. I don't do mid-roll ads. I don't like ads in the middle of videos when I'm watching. That's just my personal preference, and I hope that YouTube isn't putting ads in the middle, but I've checked it off not to do it, so I'm hoping that they don't do it. Anyway, but I do have ads at the beginning, at the end, and the little bit of revenue that I get from that is enough for me to do shipping and fund these giveaways. It's not a huge amount of money, but it's enough to do this, and I want to be able to give it back to you guys because you guys watching the commercials is what allows me to do things like this. So going forward, I will make sure that I say that I will send prizes anywhere, physical prizes anywhere. So I picked 2 winners just before I recorded, and I will put the first winner here, Primrose 4602, with her comment using the word fall. I had some funny comments, fall, autumn, and then of course I didn't even think about Southern Hemisphere. They're going to spring, of course you are. A lot of people saying they use autumn, not fall. I also tend to use autumn more, but quite frankly, I thought fall would be easier to spell. It would be easier to put in for a comment picker. So Primrose 4602, please reach out to me at the email address listed below, and we will make arrangements to get your physical prize out to you. And I'm also going to ask you to pick one of my sock patterns, and I will send that to you through Ravelry. And the second winner is Marion Handsley 7959. I know you're in the UK because we just had that autumn conversation. Thank you so much. Congratulations to both of the winners. And they will be listed below if you think you missed it, or you can rewind. But Primrose 4602, Marion Handsley 7959, reach out to me on the email below and we'll make arrangements to get this out to you as soon as I can. Yay, congratulations. Today I'm going to have a different kind of giftaway. We're going to do some digital pattern giftaways. I have a lovely knitting friend who wishes to remain anonymous, who bought a few Missing Mojo patterns and then wanted to donate to different podcasts. So I know Noelle and Kelly at Wool and Wishes and Knit Chat Cafe, they donated they gave away one of the patterns this past week, and I'm going to do the same today. So I have one coupon code for Missing Mojo socks to give away, to gift away. And I also have my lovely friend Manon gave me some coupon codes for the Lift Me Up mittens that I showed on the last podcast. I'll put a picture in here. she gave me some codes. So I'm going to gift away 2 codes as well on this episode. So if you would like to win the Missing Mojo and the Lift Me Up, or the Lift Me Up mitten, so I will have 3 Ravelry code giveaways. Just if I didn't think about this, it's our Thanksgiving weekend. Is thankful too cheesy? Let's kind of trick it this simple. If you would like Missing Mojo, use the word mojo in your comment. If you would like Lift Me Up, use the word lift. So mojo and lift. If you want both, just whack them both in your comment. You don't have to get clever and use them in a funny sentence. I just need you can say, hi Nancy, happy Thanksgiving, mojo, lift. That's all I need. You can just put the words mojo and lift. You don't need to even leave me a comment of any kind. And then I can send those coupons out via Ravelry when I get back from the UK. So the next time that I podcast will be post-England, because I'm only 2 weeks away now. So it'll be November 10th I'll be recording next, as I'm flicking through the calendar in my mind. So yes, November 10th. This is digital, so these will be gifted via Ravelry. If you are not a user of Ravelry, we can still make that happen just with an email. We can email a PDF to you. Thank you. If you're interested in that, please feel free. Mojo and lift. There was something else I was going to say, and it's gone out of my head. Okay. Will either come back or it won't. So, we're moving on to acquisitions and chat. I am mindful this is almost an hour long. I'm probably going to be coming in around an hour 20, an hour and a half, like I always do, no matter how. I think this is going to be shorter. But I received a lovely message from a viewer a few weeks ago who said she wanted to send me something and asked for my address, which I thought was lovely and very kind. And then I got the package. I got from Nadine. Hi, Nadine. Thank you. These amazing, no, hang on, snowmen. So let me, this little guy has got a sparkly hat and scarf, and he's knitting his scarf. She's knitting her scarf with the toothpicks. Adorable. So I need to find somewhere to hang these, and then they can move to my Christmas tree for Christmas tree season, but they need to go somewhere more permanent until then, because this guy, or this lady, this lovely lady is a snowman after my own heart. Can you see? In her hands, she has a wine bottle and a wine glass. Ah, she's adorable. So as soon as I got them, I messaged Nadine and said, thank you so much. These will not just be Christmas tree. And like I said, they need to find somewhere to live for the other 11 months of the year. So I should probably tidy this up and maybe put them up there. Don't know. Maybe they'll hang from one of my big plants, one of the branches, one of my big plants. But yeah, I love them both because they are 2 of my favorite things. People are so lovely and talented. That was something so nice that came in the mail. I'm going to show you, actually, oh, this is other dream making. Now that I'm saying I'm leaving in 2 weeks, I'm nuts to think about it. It's cross stitch. I think I'm not going to show you this today because I'm not going to be able to, I'm not going to have time to touch this in the next 2 weeks. What am I thinking? Next time. I'm going to make some time to do some cross stitch because I'm feeling the itch. Something about the seasonal change, maybe. Okay, let's do, I have a box of yarn from Knit Picks. So there is a coupon code down below. I'll also put it on the screen here. For the month of October, you can use AK Happy and get 15% off your order at KnitPicks. I use KnitPicks yarn a fair bit. Great for socks, great for heels, toes, and cuffs. Their stroll line. So I took advantage of a coupon code and did some shopping. So I'm just going to whiz through this quickly to show you what I got. If you've been on Instagram, you will have already seen this. So stroll fingering. I got the skeins of the tonal in the eucalyptus and manatee in this fun blue gray, and then this one. Oh, I couldn't leave this one behind. This is hummingbird, but this is like me in a skein with that kind of peacock teal blues with the grays. So even though this is commercial yarn, I generally knit socks for other people in commercial yarn. This one's definitely gonna be for me. So these are 100 gram skeins, and I picked up some hawthorn as well in the fingering and the DK. I like to use the hawthorn for knitting socks for gifts and also for slippers, the slipper socks. The Cozy Up knits Joe's Perfect Slipper Socks. I'll put a picture in here and I'll have it linked below. I knit these a lot for my mother-in-law, and hawthorn, I usually hold it double, but they had a DK version, so I thought I would be able to adjust the pattern. I may have to go down needle size than what I normally use with the fingering halo double, but I thought this DK weight would be good. It is 225 yards for 100 grams. 80% superwash Highland wool and 20% polyamide. So the green is Springfield tonal, and the kind of gray is Astoria tonal. It's kind of this grubby gray denim beige hits. So that's the DK versions that I got. And then I picked up a couple of fingering as well, just because it's such a hard wearing yarn. Again, this color, it's coming up a little brighter than it is. Colorway is Serpent, kettle dyed. And then this one is Silverton tonal. So whether these will be gift socks for somebody or whether I do hold them double for slippers, I don't know. And then if you watch Kelly and Noelle on Knit Chat Cafe, Knit Chat Cafe, Kelly's been knitting with this Filicini, and it's a limited edition. I'll cover my face. It's a limited edition, and they only had 2 colors left. That's the color. So I grabbed this one. It was on clearance, so there may or may not be any left. But I wanted to try this. It's got smaller, thinner stripes than Felici. Felici's normally about, what, 5-6 rounds? These look like they're about 3. Almost half the size. So it's Ambrosia Salad. And again, I don't know if there's any left because they were clearing it out. That I can't show you. It's part of a gift. And then I picked up KnitPicks Stroll. They come in 50 gram balls. They had a blue-gray taster set. So some of these belong to that. Obviously, the purple doesn't. But they're just perfect little bites for either to do a whole sock with contrast heels, cuffs, and or a whole pair of socks with heels, toes, and cuffs, or to use as heels, toes, and cuffs. So I got lots of different colors. I got lots of different colors of the stroll, just because if I was going to be doing it, I was going to get free shipping, because of course, why wouldn't I? And I said, these yarns never go astray in my stash for heels, toes, and cuffs, or just for a nice tonal yarn that will show a pattern really well, and great for gifts. So that was my KnitPicks haul. I flew through that quite quickly. If you wanted to know specific colors, I can point you towards the KnitPicks website for that. Yeah, and then I went to PEI and was quite restrained, considering I just received that. And I'm going to the UK and probably will be shopping there as well. I'm at this phase where I'm feeling very overwhelmed by what I've got because I don't have time. I don't have time to knit it. Yeah, let's not. Oh, and this was a gift. Amanda, who works with me, when she came back from her vacation, she had picked this up somewhere. It's kind of a, oh, hang on, cover your face, Nancy. I'm not weird, I'm a limited edition, and it's a little person that you build, and she also has a wine glass. I'm not taking it out of the plastic, so I'm just trying to work with the reflection. So you've got all of the bits and pieces and the felt and the wooden bits that you need, and there is a little wine glass in there. There's the purse. So that will be something, that'll be a fun project over the winter to make up. I haven't read any of the instructions. I'm assuming it's a glue gun situation, but it could be sewn. I have no idea. But thank you, Amanda. That was lovely, and I will definitely be making that up. Geez, a bumblebee just flew by my bedroom, and it looked like a hummingbird. It was huge. It's October 13th, like I said. We still haven't had a frost. I was watching Allie from This Little Wonderful Life and Becky back to Blighty. They're doing Vlogtober, and they had frost Friday night in the south of the UK. We still haven't had a frost here, so everything's still blooming. My plants are still on the go. We're going to have to throw them out soon, though, because we've got to get the deck cleared off for winter, because before you know it, there will be snow here. We had snow last year on the 31st on Halloween. Okay, another tangent. Let's go to PEI. Let's talk about Prince Edward Island Fibre Festival. We went over on Thursday. Deborah and I went over on Thursday to set up the booth. There was a Thursday night session. If you took a class and you had a marketplace pass, then there was an exclusive knitting or an exclusive shopping event for you on the Thursday night, just for 2 hours. So that was, we got set up, had a nice meal out with friends. Well, it wasn't a nice meal. I was really cranky. And then my meal didn't come for an hour and some minutes in a very quiet restaurant, and I was grumpy. All of the ladies who were at the table with me will tell you I was very grumpy. The food when it came was okay. Anyway, moving on. Thursday night was fun. I got to meet and chat with a lot of different people. I didn't take any footage on Thursday, I don't believe. I will have some footage at the end of what I took. Some of the bridge, I do believe in going over the bridge. And Charlottetown, we had beautiful weather. There were cruise ships coming in and out. We had a view of the harbor where our booth was. We were in front of a huge wall of windows. It was really nice. So then we ran a full day on Friday, had dinner out with friends on Friday night, and then back to the hotel lobby. Oh yes, we had hotel lobby knitting both for Thursday night and Friday night. Which is always fun. Lots of knitters walking by and knitwear walking by, and meeting new friends and catching up with old friends. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. As I said, I'll put whatever footage and pictures that I have at the end. Saturday was a shorter day. We ran until 4. Then we packed up. But then we decided that we weren't going to race out. It's tricky with these events. Everybody's trying to leave at the same time. Of course they are. And there's a limited amount of space in the loading areas. And it can get quite frantic and stressful. It was a beautiful evening. So we went out onto the deck past will see there's a 2024 and Love kind of art installations set up on the harbor front in Charlottetown, close to the Delta where we were staying, and seating. Having said that, well, there were 2 cruise ships that came in that day, and they both left that evening. One of them left while we were sitting there waiting for the mania to calm down. So we sat and watched this cruise ship maneuver its way out of the slip and out to open water. It was fascinating to watch and very enjoyable. And the sun was out. It tried to speckle on us a little bit, tried to rain a little bit, but then not. And we just, it was really nice. Yeah, Deborah may have taken pictures, but I completely forgot. I was exhausted. And I was just enjoying watching this huge piece of machinery move around in quite a small space, seemingly effortlessly. I know it's not, but yeah, then we drove home, and I was home by 8, I think, on Saturday night. Quick bite to eat, and in bed quite early. And then Sunday I was a zombie. I couldn't put words together. I'm not doing so well now either. I did a little bit of shopping at PEI. I'm just looking at my notes to see if there's anything else, but I'm just going to show you my PEI acquisitions. The first thing that I bought this is the only thing I bought on the Thursday, the extra day, was Jennifer from the Yarn Therapist, who is from Ontario, came down. So I picked up this little sock set from her. So this is 90 grams of a self-striping and a contrast mini. And I love that navy and green combination. I just thought that was really fun. Colorway is evergreen, is the self-striping, and navy is the contrast. So I will have Jennifer linked below. She does have an online shop, and you'll see her quite a lot of the Canadian yarn shows around if you're in Canada. Then I found just around the corner from us was hang on one second. I think I have cards here. Yeah. Can't remember what her name was. It Patchett? It was a store with iron-on patches. She gave me a card, but it's branded with PEI Fibre Festival. Oh my word. So sorry about the lighting. Just with instructions on how to iron them on. Now let's see if I can do this. I don't want to take them out of their packaging. I've got some footage of her booth at the end, and I'll have her linked below. I know she has an Etsy shop. I'm just going to show you what I got. I got a couple of these. And first thing I said to her is, you don't have to sew those on, do you? She says, no, they iron on. I'm like, done. So I just picked up a selection. Most of these are probably going to be gifts. You may be able to guess who that one's for. If you are a watcher of the English podcasts. Yeah, and then these two just repeated again. So I think, like I said, I think most of these will be going as gifts. And I've got a few of these cards with the instructions on how to use them. Put those there so they don't get lost in my basket. My friend Leanne is the one who makes my wine themed stitch markers. I don't have any close. I tucked them away. I'll put a picture in here that I give away when I'm at yarn shows to say hello and thank you for being brave and coming up and saying hello. I know. Coming up and saying hello to a person that you kind of know but don't really know and they don't know you, it's awkward. I've done it. I've done it at yarn shows and felt really weird doing it. So if you come up to say hello to me, thank you. It was lovely to see you. I was terrible at pictures again. Some of them popped up on Instagram and been tagged, and that was amazing. Thank you. I had some great interactions with people. I'm not going to specific because there was a few of them that were just made me laugh, and it was so enjoyable. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you in 2025 at different yarn events. Unless you're going to the Woolly Retreat in Shropshire in 3 weeks. But my friend Leanne, who makes those stitch markers, was giving away these cute cards. You're ducking great with these cute little ducks. And Ducky has your back if you ever need a pick-me-up. And that's Leanne's Instagram there. She's Leanne, I never remember, Knit Sits Reads. Leanne Sit Knit Read. I'll have her linked below. But she was giving away these really adorable duck progress keepers. That's what I should put on my crochet blanket because that would be fun. That's what I'm going to do. This is going on my crochet blanket. Because Leanne is a crocheter and she was wearing the most amazing Jethro. I'm going to put a picture in here. Sorry, Leanne. I hope you don't mind. I'll check with you first. She did a rainbow gradient Jethro ish. She adjusted the squares. She did a more closed in granny and did a gradient and then a speckled sleeve with a striped cuff. It was amazing. She was getting stopped everywhere in the marketplace on Friday because she was wearing it. Everyone was loving her in that, and it's so Leanne. So thank you, Leanne. This will be going on my crochet blanket, and I'll be in touch about my Jethro after I get back from England. Is that a warning? A threat? The only other thing that I bought at PEI, oh no, I'm lying. The only other yarny thing I bought at PEI was from Green Gable Alpacas. So this is a PEI local business, and Janet, I am right, it's Janet. In 2020, we went for a farm visit. If you're on Prince Edward Island, you can go to her farm spring through fall, and she opens to the public, and you can see her alpacas. And when we were there that summer of 2020, during COVID, the Maritimes had what we call a bubble. We were allowed to travel freely between Nova Scotia, PEI, and New Brunswick. So that summer we took I think we took a week and went to PEI. We stayed in a beautiful cottage and traveled around, and we went up to the farm, Green Gables Alpaca Farm. I bought some fiber that I spun that I'm about to try looking over my shoulder. It's buried. I spun some beautiful alpaca fiber, but she is making a natural sock yarn called Dory Sock. So I picked up 2 skeins. The variegated is called Petal Patrol, with the pinks and the greens. And then I just picked up Charisma as a contrast. I'm thinking a springy sock design in her base. So let me tell you what this is. It is 70% extra fine merino, 20% royal alpaca, and 10% mulberry silk. So I said this is a no nylon yarn base. It has a bit of a halo. It's got a nice tight twist. So I'm really keen to play with this, just to have as socks, but also to play with as a design. I thought the colors were fun, and I really wanted to support a PEI local yarn business. So I picked those up. And the last thing that I got that isn't a yarn purchase, just around the corner from our booth, was this booth called Basket Case. No, cover your face. There we are. So she has a website. I will link it below, but here are her contact details. It was Ruth. Her booth was absolutely stunning with the most bright and vibrant baskets. I just got a little one. She uses cord and then wraps it in fabric. Come on, get the color. There we go. That's a bit better. You can see the stitching on it. And she had everything from huge baskets to put all your knitting project bags in to these cute little smaller ones. I'm thinking I'm going to put a plant in this one. And she does these cute little spirally things. Some had beads, some had flowers. So I had to have one. I couldn't decide. I couldn't justify a big one. I already have a big basket for my whips beside my couch, and I don't have the space for a big one. So I got this little cute, small-ish one that I thought I could put a plastic coaster in the bottom, like a plant draining saucer, and then I can put a plant in there, and it will look beautiful. And then her business cards all had little scraps of fabric tied on them, which I thought was brilliant. So that is what I bought at PEI. It was a smaller acquisition, but again, I was trying to be a little more mindful for different things, not necessarily yarny things, but the yarn I did buy, I'm excited to use. That yarn therapist, yeah, I was about to say maybe I'll take that to England with me, but yeah, we'll see. We shall see. Chat. What else has happened in the last 3 weeks? We had a great family dinner. Sam and Rob and Archie came down 2 weekends ago, and we had early Thanksgiving dinner. They brought a lovely ham. I'll have shown a bit of footage, or I might be showing, there's a big old I would say stick, but it's a small log in the middle of my backyard lawn because Archie dragged it out of the woods and then dropped it. He played with it for a little while and then realized he couldn't run around with it, so he just dropped it and it's still there. Archie was here. I was going to get Sam to foot model a whole bunch of my socks for me so I could do some fun, take some fun videos for using on Instagram and stuff, but we got yakking and completely forgot. One of my girlfriends came up from Halifax. We played cards. We played a couple games. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And yeah, we aren't going to see them this weekend for Thanksgiving, but our son and his partner are coming over tomorrow, and I will be making my homemade waffles. And we were going to take down the screen room and clear the pots off the deck and things like that, but it's supposed to pour rain tomorrow. So unfortunately, I was hoping that Zach would do some of the work with Brad and I wouldn't have to do as much of it. Because I was going to bribe him with waffles, but that evil plan isn't going to work out now. He's still going to get the waffles. He's not going to have to work for them. Okay. Speaking of waffles, General Waffle, my nod to Kelly and Katie, inside number 23, who remembers that one. I'm waffling a lot now, so it's time for me to finish off this wine and carry on with my relaxing kind of Sunday. I got sheets on the line, brisk breeze out there. I got sheets on the line and urine on the line, and yeah, beautiful. I love hanging clothes on my washing line. Here I go again. I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you taking the time to sit and knit with me as I keep you company. If you do take the time to leave a comment, I also appreciate that. As I said, episode 40, I will be going back through and hitting up the comments I didn't get to yet. And don't forget the giftaway if you'd like to win digital copies of Missing Mojo and the Lift Me Up mittens. Details will be below. Thank you, my friends. Happy knitting, happy sipping, and I will see you in 4 weeks after I get back from England.
It is Saturday morning at the PEI Fibre Festival, and we just got down to the room with the marketplace. It's happening right in front of us. I think somebody said there's 2 cruise ships coming in today, so this is number 1. So it's a beautiful venue. I'm just going to walk you around. We haven't quite opened yet. I hope you're enjoying my sexy first thing in the morning voice. There was a lot of talking yesterday, so I'm going to pause this and then I'll walk you through the marketplace. So this is the room with this gorgeous wall of windows down the end. So let's have a quick walk through while it's quiet. Where shall we start? Let's go this way. I've been left alone. I'm holding the fort with my sock project. This is Deborah's Evanescence. I got some Lift Me Up mittens there. POS coupons, my water bottle, yarn. This is my current view. It's Saturday lunchtime. Having fun.